Assalamu alaikum everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I've been programming for a little over 7 years now, and in those 7 years I've had my fair share of entrepreneurial and professional ventures in the world of tech. I've created mobile games that have gone ahead and garnered over 50,000 plus downloads, and I've also worked at big tech companies and created awesome products that have gone ahead and serviced hundreds and thousands of users on a monthly basis. So I believe with that track record, I am somebody who's qualified to share with you guys how I would learn to start programming if I could do it all over again. This video is going to be jam-packed with information, and I'll try to share as much of my knowledge with you guys as I can. The information applies to anybody, whether you're somebody who's 18 or 60, doesn't matter. I'm going to be dividing the video up into distinct sections, and I'll be talking about things such as the best programming language to learn in my opinion, the path that you can follow to become a professional programmer and land a job in an actual tech company, the projects that you can actually do to put on your resume, and the mentality that goes behind to becoming a good programmer. Every programmer's journey starts with them picking up a language, and this is going to be the same for you as well. The language that I recommend you take a look at is going to be Python, and I say this for 3 reasons. The first one being that Python is an extremely easy language to understand. It's not as verbose as some other languages such as C or C++, hence you'll be doing yourself a favor and saving yourself a lot of frustration that comes with working with these other more complicated languages. Moreover, the documentation that is associated with this language is very beginner friendly, and the developer community is very welcoming of new developers as well. The second reason why I think Python is such a good choice is because of the versatility of this language. The applications of this language are in a bunch of different tech fields. So you can become a web developer by using Python. You can also become a data scientist, or if you fancy something such as machine learning, then Python is also applicable in those areas. And my third and final reason kind of ties in with the second one. With versatility comes a lot of job opportunities in the market, and the job opportunities in the world of Python programming are continuously increasing year over year. So your chances of actually being able to land a job once you become a competent developer in Python are going to be much higher than any other programming language. So once you picked up the language in which you're going to be learning to code in, you're going to be using this language to understand and get a grasp of the fundamental concepts of programming. So the first thing that I recommend that you take a look at is going to be how to work with variables in your preferred language. And keep in mind that I do not want you to memorize the specific syntax of the language. What I want you to focus on are the actual key concepts when it comes to things such as variables, data types, control flow, conditional statements, functions, and then finally object-oriented programming. So once you've basically understood these concepts and also understood how you apply these concepts with the language that you had chosen, then you're practically done with these basic concepts of programming, and you can confidently move on to the next step of the process. A big mistake that I feel like a lot of beginner programmers make is that they are stuck in this thing which I call the tutorial loop. They start from one tutorial, go on to the next one, then they feel restless, they move on to something else, and they just keep on going within this tutorial loop, overburdening themselves with the overflow of information that they're consuming and not being able to actually ingest and dissolve all of this information into their mind. So my recommendation to you would be, whenever you're studying some material, whether that's a book that you're reading, an article online, maybe a video that you're watching, is try to follow along with what the person is doing. And also, once you've finished the tutorial, take some time to actually look at the code, understand what it's actually doing, tinker with it a little bit, try to see if you can do things with it that change the behavior of that specific piece of code. And this is really going to help you solidify your understanding of what you actually wrote. It's going to give your mind an actual break to actually ingest all of the information that you have. And this is definitely going to improve your capacity over the long run in becoming a more competent developer. Once you have a good understanding of programming concepts and a language in which you can confidently apply them into, which hopefully by this time you should, the next step would be to actually create mini programs in which you can actually solidify your understanding even further of these concepts as well as the programming language that you just learned. My recommendation for you is going to be to actually use online tools and IDEs that are available online. And this is going to allow you to remove all of the complexities that come with actually setting up development environments on your computer. We'll leave that for another day. Once you are in a programming IDE or environment that's online, I would recommend that you try to write very simple programs that can allow you to understand how Python actually works, or how programming just in general works. You can create mini programs, for example, a function that returns a random color to you in a hex format, or maybe a function that returns to you a random name of a movie by getting it from a list of movie names that you have stored somewhere in your program. So programs like this are really going to help you out. One program that I recommend that you should take a look at is maybe trying to create a calculator, implement basic functions of that calculator in your program, so such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, remainder, things like that, and then try to create some kind of a command line interface to using that calculator so that you can put in commands such as 2 plus 4, and then on the command line the Python program might output the actual answer to that specific equation that you just put in. So a very basic program, nothing algebra related, just basic mathematical concepts such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division should really help you ace these ideas and get on your way of getting to the next step in your programming journey. I know. By this time you're just overwhelmed with all of the information I've given you and you just want to rest a bit. So what we're going to be now doing is actually discussing a realistic timeline of what I believe it takes to become a programmer, keeping in mind that you put in a solid amount of effort. So I believe that it's going to take around a year for you if you're somebody that's at least comfortable using computers to become competent enough to get a job in the field of programming. And I do not expect that by the end of the year, you'll be able to land a 6-figure paying job in a FANG-based company. That's kind of an unrealistic expectation. If you are able to do that, good for you, thumbs up. You're like an anomaly. But for most people, a job in the field of $60,000 to $70,000, maybe working for a non-FANG-based company, is not a stretch goal. It's going to be something that is achievable. A year is something that I would kind of give you to target at, and assuming that you put in around 3 hours a day learning how to program and then moving onwards from there to learn other more advanced concepts, a year is a solid amount of time to be able to become a competent developer. Once you have a good understanding of the fundamental concepts of programming, you are confident in a specific language, and now you have a realistic expectation of the time it is going to take you to become a developer, the next step that you should try to incorporate into your programming journey is going to be to learn data structures and algorithms. This is something where I differ from other people from. I think that you should try to learn data structures and algorithms as soon as you can, and I say this for 2 primary reasons. The first one being that data structures and algorithms are the fundamental topic that you're going to be tested on when you apply for technical interviews. Let's be honest, nobody's going to be asking you to write a mini program that adds 2 numbers together. That's not the reason why companies are hiring you. What they want you to be able to do is create solutions to complicated problems, and the way they can accurately deduce this, if you have this capability, is by testing you on your knowledge of data structures and algorithms. So definitely take a look at data structures and algorithms. They are a quintessential thing that you need to learn to be able to become a competent developer. If you're somebody that's wondering what type of data structures you should try to learn, then I've basically noted them down. You should take a look at dictionaries, linked lists, queues, heaps, trees, and graphs. But if you're still confused and you want a bit more information on them, I have actually already created a video on these, and it's in my channel. So I'll leave a link to that somewhere up here in a card, and you can view that at your earliest convenience. The second reason why I think data structures and algorithms are so important, because they're going to give you a taste of what actual programming feels like, and if it is something that you actually want to pursue. I don't believe that when you're actually just writing very basic programs to return random strings and things like that, that you really get a grasp of what programming actually entails. It is a very mentally challenging field, and I believe that's the reason why we get paid big bucks for it. So if you're somebody that gets bored or easily gives up on trying to find solutions to very challenging problems, then maybe this is going to be a place where you're going to be able to get a more clear answer to if this is a career that you want to pursue or not. So I definitely recommend that you try to learn data structures and algorithms before you actually invest more time into your programming journey. Once you're good with data structures and algorithms, I want you to get into the resume building mode, as I like to call it. What I would want you to do here is try to learn a framework or 2 of things that you're interested in, and then try to build projects using them. So if you're somebody that really likes web development, then using a framework such as Django would be an excellent choice. If you like backend development, then maybe using a framework such as Django REST framework, which builds upon Django and allows you to create RESTful APIs, is another good option. If you're on the total opposite spectrum and data science and machine learning really tingles your feelings, then maybe using frameworks such as TensorFlow, PyTorch, scikit-learn, and libraries such as NumPy and Pandas might be something that you should try to put your interest to. But all in all, what I want to do is actually build tangible projects which you can actually put on your resume and then be able to talk with employers about. And this is going to really help you make up for that lack of experience you have, and try to talk with your employers about the different things that you've built. By no means do I mean that you need to build something that's really creative and innovative out there that nobody has ever done before. It's completely fine if you take a look at other people that are building projects online and try to take inspiration from them, or even follow them in the tutorials that they build. All I want you to do is actually build projects and not copy them and then try to put them on your resume and maybe deploy them online somewhere, such as websites called Render or Railway completely for free and then put them on your resume so that potential employers are able to see the work that you've done. And once you have done some personal projects, then I'd also recommend that instead of firstly applying to a job, maybe try to do some freelance work. This is also going to allow you to get a sense of how an actual development job feels like. Put this on your resume, and this is going to give you a solid enough resume to at least land somewhat of a decent paying job in the field of tech. So now that I've outlined a detailed path for you that you can take to become a developer and then hopefully land a job in the field of tech, I'm going to be sharing some tips and tricks with you that are hopefully going to help you avoid the mistakes that I made through my journey. The first thing that I'd recommend is that you try to develop a habit of reading documentation. And the reason I say this is because you're going to be reading documentations all throughout your programming journey, and having a solid understanding of how to browse different documentations and find sections where there is relevant information for the problem that you're trying to solve is really going to help you out. The next thing that I'll recommend is that you take a look at how to read error messages, how to debug them, how to actually search for different error messages online, and the different resources that are available online for you to be able to find solution to particular error messages is going to really help you out. A very big tip that I have for you is anytime you get an error message, the first thing that you should try to do is copy that error message, put that into Google search, and whatever results that Google give you, try to click on them, go through the solutions, but then also try to go through the actual descriptions for the solutions that people have given so that you can develop an understanding of how people came up to the particular solution to the error problem that you were facing. And then after this, I'll also recommend to you that never give up on yourself, always believe in yourself. Programming is an extremely challenging field. That is why it pays you big bucks if you are a competent developer. So it's definitely going to be mentally challenging for you. But if you are somebody that is really thrilled and really has a knack for problem solving, has a ability to be patient in stressful situations, has humility in themselves to acknowledge their own mistakes, and has a strive to always keep learning in their life and becoming better and better, then you're definitely going to be able to become a successful programmer no matter what age you're starting at, whether that's somebody who's 16, 65, or even 80. The path might be tedious, but it's something that is well worth the effort. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully the information that I shared with you guys today inspires you and helps you to become a competent developer and achieve your goals. I really wish that I had a video like this when I was initially beginning programming. I made a lot of different mistakes, and I would have cut down my actual learning time in half if I had a video like this. As always, if you enjoyed the video, then please don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video and also subscribe to my channel so that you get notified every time I upload a video. If there's some useful tip or trick that I missed, please don't forget to leave that down in the comments below so that it may help other people that are browsing and looking at this video. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy, keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.